Hey, no, I'm just kidding. Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex, and this is Big Baby Reviews. I am joined today by Nick. Say hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, we got it. We are looking at the next issue of Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four. I'm just going to call it that. The greatest comic magazine in the world. In this great collector's item issue. Were they already talking about that even back in 1961, that these things would be collector's items? Like, this is from the original cover? I find that interesting. Yeah, anyways.
Possibly. I mean, if you go back to issues 1 and 2, this is the one that looks the most superhero. The nicest one, apart from the iconic number 1.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, iconic in its own right as well. I mean, fantasticar, the suits, Johnny Storm actually looking like the Human Torch.
Absolutely.
And not just red and yellow fire lines.
What we're getting,
we're getting the actual textured humanoid look.
The standardized kind of,
yeah.
I don't know what they call that, just hatching, I guess, which would be around for the longest time, right up until like computer coloring. So I guess he's starting to solidify the look for at least 3 of the 4 characters.
No eyebrows on Ben Grimm yet.
Oh, the brow, eh? Yeah, absolutely.
That famous brow.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's still looking a little soft and squishy there. We're getting a little bit of, slowly but surely, that Jack Kirby kind of
New York
tech style. Yeah, the city's starting to look less realistic and more kind of technological, I guess, is how I would describe it. So we're going to be introduced the first time to the amazing fantasticar. I don't know if that's the best name, but whatever. The actual vehicle is pretty cool. It looks like a bathtub here, but later on in the story, there's actually something cool that happens there. The colorful new Fantastic Four costumes.
That's funny. I never looked at it as a bathtub.
That's always what I thought it looked like. Just a big bathtub. The colorful new Fantastic Four costumes and other startling surprises. Excuse me. Also learn the secrets of the Fantastic Four's skyscraper hideout, which I imagine is what's going to become the Baxter Building, right?
That's right.
A lot being introduced in this issue 3. So this is starting to feel like the Fantastic Four that we know and some of us love, I guess. So without further ado, let's cover. Let's have a look inside. And first off, I mentioned to Nick earlier, this just feels kind of like a Doctor Strange. I guess Doctor Strange hadn't been published at this point.
I'm not sure yet. He comes out. When does he come out? He comes out in Strange Tales, no?
Yes.
And he's not even on the cover of that issue. He appears in.
Yeah, so I don't know who comes first, Doctor Strange or this guy. I know there's the Doctor Druid or something that actually is like right before Doctor Strange. He's bald, but he looks Asian or Oriental, as people used to say back in the day.
Hey, let's speak about that name, the Miracle Man. Another character Jack Kirby would come to create.
Yeah, and on the I guess no copyright issues there. Not that I'm trying to cause trouble, especially 50 years in the past. So this guy definitely to me has some sort of Dracula kind of inspiration there, right? A bit of a bat kind of shape and the count look and the countenance, the clothing. I thought these panels here were interesting. I don't see a lot of this in Jack Kirby's work necessarily, or maybe this early on, but this is actually one panel that's been kind of split into 2 as this character kind of continues throughout. I think it looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Always like when they do stuff like that. Johnny Storm, slowly becoming on model, but still looks a little funny. The Thing is still in his drama queen phase, I guess.
He hasn't accepted he's the Thing.
I guess he does at some point, right? So some Kirby effects that he's going to perfect probably throughout the 60s. So maybe, some of the things that he uses start to differentiate him a little bit from other artists. Doesn't feel quite perfected here, but we'll see very similar stuff as we move along. What is this, like just the man's like a fart is what I was going to say. What is this?
Is that a cloud or a smoke? Yeah.
But it's in the shade. I'm not crazy. It's in the shape of like the Michelin Man or something. This is an odd effect that I don't think he's going to use much of.
Oh, yeah, not too often.
Everything's very kind of descriptive still, right? I don't like diagrams almost, like the art is how I describe it. Some people have said like DC is kind of boring and staid and
yeah, so is Marvel early on at this point.
But then you get every once in a while you get a shot like this.
Look,
Like I think
the
that
early Marvel stuff is the art that pushed them forward in popularity. They looked different. They were bigger. They were badder. They were cooler.
can't say.
Oh yeah. You look at DC at this point and who they're rivaling up against. You didn't stand a chance.
Well, I'm still getting a little bit of it here, but like I said, when you get a shot like this is where you start to get like those Kirby tropes that are going to become more relevant throughout, all of his comics. The big hands, the forced perspective and stuff. I don't see too much of it yet. I see his character designs, some of his textures here and there. See what I mean? Like this is literally a diagram, right? So this is what eventually, I guess, is going to become the Baxter Building, right? They just call it the Fantastic Four secret headquarters for now, but love those monochrome shots. So this is like a very Kirby thing, the close-up. I like the monochrome color here. Is that their building? That's
I think that looks like the proto.
I feel like it probably changes, right?
Building,
Yeah, like the design over time probably.
In later comics, it's like a big four. Make it any more obvious.
Yeah, so it becomes not so secret later on. All right, this is cool. Next chapter. I really like the design on this guy here. Punk rock before punk rock, right? With the mohawk kind of look here. Definitely a very Kirby monster. I always liked when he does the square fingers and even more so the square kind of nails coming out of it. So that was there early on. See what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I love those stubby fingers. So here's an interesting kind of look that all of a sudden they're giving the thing a mask. I'd never seen this before. They brought this back in the 90s.
Yes.
When Wolverine cut his face.
I was going to say, even the action figure had that accessory. That's the only reason I would know.
So interesting that they I have to think they went back and or knew about this and said we're going to use that same similar design because that's pretty darn close. It's pretty much the same, I would say. That's crazy. Yeah, so that's like 30 years later they used that. Crazy. What's up with Reed Richards' hair? All of a sudden, it's like now the white is down here. Come on, colorist. This makes it look like he wears like some sort of toupee. Yeah. Like his hair's, he's got like a white crown underneath, and then he just throws that on top.
I think a lot of these errors are just colorists sort of not knowing what's going on.
Clearly, but then there's other parts where I think the colorists are doing a great job, and like this monochrome blue panel here, I think is very cool.
It's the same colorist.
Yeah. Still a lot of blue and yellow, eh? That's like how I describe the color scheme from the very first issue is
primary colors.
Yeah, but blue and yellow seems to be like obviously the suits are blue.
Yeah.
But again, just a nice monochrome panel like that with the different values of blue. I think it works really well. Again, look at this to just separate the planes, right? So you got foreground red, middle ground yellow. I guess what is that? Kind of a green, light green.
Yeah. It's like a greenish gray.
Yeah.
Definitely out there.
Yeah, he's not.
It definitely doesn't fit the whole page either. It
does kind of stand out. Yeah.
It's very different.
When you do a monochrome, it's like here they're all red, right? Like it doesn't make literal sense. It's the difference between objective and subjective colors, right? So objective is objects are the sky's blue, the apples are red. People aren't red, obviously we know that, but it's meant to imply some sort of danger, I guess, is generally like the color for red, violence, right?
But even then, as opposed to like today's comics, like today's comics, this panel, they would actually take the time, orange skin, they would color the appropriate colors of the people rather than just...
They're 100% objective now. Yeah. They don't do this kind of stuff anymore.
No, not at all.
Like this, okay, the sky's obviously not yellow, but I mean, these are objective colors, right? The cops' suits are blue. Their skin tone is kind of a skin tone, right? We know this monster is green, so it's green. Those are objective colors. But every once in a while, when you throw something like that in, it just breaks it up, I guess, maybe. It does catch your eye. It does attract your eye more so because you're seeing something different from the rest of it. There's good reasons. Like, again, like sometimes it's just, they're literally just red and you don't really question it when you're reading it, right? It just kind of works. And this is the part where I was talking about, I thought the fantasticar was pretty interesting because the basic design just kind of does look like a bathtub. But then when you get to here and they split up, I think already it makes it a little bit more interesting.
Is the sky flashing between blue and yellow, symbolizing flashes?
I don't think so.
Explosions?
I don't.
Explosions?
Oh, could be. Oh, you're right, eh?
Yeah.
It could be. That makes sense. Flashes in the sky. Interesting. Yeah, again, I don't know if it's objective or subjective.
Kind of like similar to older cartoons. Whenever something was exploding, it would always like flash you.
The sky would change
Yeah.
color. Or like, yeah, absolutely. Definitely in that mold. Some more Mr. Fantastic. So this is just an odd, kind of creepy. I don't know. It's a weird panel. I kind of like it though. It's one of those like take it out of context. He's coming this way. I've got to trap him. Yeah, we're not gonna.
Yeah, of course. Standard dialogue.
Go down that road. All right. He is starting to look like himself though. They're starting to get the temples right. Got kind of a Kirby tank here, which I like.
He rips off his suit.
Ah, okay. We were looking for that, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting. It's kind of again, I don't see how Stan Lee, if Jack Lee was drawing the whole story, could work in like an idea like this. Like the thing just, doesn't like feels constricted or whatever the reason is. Let's read it. You stay hidden, Sue, in case we need you. As for me, I'm getting out of this monkey suit so I can move. So yeah, he feels constricted in something, right? And like it's funny because it's the first issue where the costumes appear and already he's modifying it or getting rid of a piece of it, right?
Yeah.
And eventually he wouldn't even have pants, right? He's just got the underwear. Because, I mean, this is not a bad design. And surprisingly, Jack Kirby just threw it. Like, we haven't even seen it once. That's what's funny about this. Let's go back real quick. She puts the helmet on him, right? Don't see him for these 2 pages. Don't see him on this page. See him from the back. Takes the helmet off. And rips this off, like the shirt off. So we didn't even get like an actual great shot of what I think is probably a pretty cool design. Could have kept it for a few issues and then decided no and take the mask off and get frustrated or whatever. Right? But like cool design just gets thrown away. It's kind of interesting. Chapter 3 is The Flame That Died. Another one of these great panels I like with like a big creepy face and a monochrome. Starting to get a little more interesting, I would say.
Yeah, a little more Jack Kirby.
One more chapter. This is kind of odd. I don't know. So
the slender thing.
and the thing is back in costume for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess he's just gonna keep wrecking him.
That's definitely James Cagney, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Closer.
I don't think the costumes have been defined as unstable molecules yet either. So maybe this is just cloth. They haven't thought it out yet.
Oh, that's why Johnny's naked, no? Should go back.
Oh, why did you let Sue tackle the Miracle Man by herself? Maybe they're not referencing it. I don't know.
No.
Could be. That would make sense. Again, it's early 60s comics, so maybe they try to avoid the nudity generally, I feel like, but this makes me laugh because this feels like it's a reference and this isn't. So like this is a pretty good dog, I think. That's not so great.
It's true.
One more monochrome red panel here. Jack Kirby tank design for sure. Early Kirby tech. Oh, and I was mentioning earlier, right? A different way of doing her invisibility effect here.
Doing those the shading or the black.
It's like, I guess negative space. Like everything that's light becomes shaded through her invisibility body cloak or whatever.
While she's still appearing as a solid object.
Yeah. I think this approach is pretty cool. Works well. This is what we saw before too as well, but he's actually drawn a few kind of brick lines behind there.
Yeah, but then there's the belt and the neck, the collar.
Yeah, he's slowly perfecting it. This is Kirby's done this panel I don't know how many times. The close up of the eyes. Not the first time, not the last time.
No, it's a Kirby trope.
Oh, this panel I mentioned earlier too, I thought looks kind of like an Archie comic.
Well, especially like the guy with the hat.
Well, they're having a soda. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this is something that's, you know, pretty typical of the late 50s, early 60s. They're at the, what's the shop in the Archie? Pops? Is that where they go? I haven't read Archie in a while.
The diner.
Wow, okay. This issue seems pretty long, honestly. So still this magician guy? Yeah.
That magician guy just disappeared.
So now we got the gangster guy. Yeah, not quite sure what's going on there, but again, we do focus more on the art here. And I think some of the more interesting storylines are yet to come. We're still in the early stages. They've brought in some interesting elements with the look of the Human Torch, you know, the costumes and stuff, slowly moving towards kind of a superhero comic, but we're not fully there yet. Some nice elements though already. And do we got any sort of pinup here? Nope. So we'll be saving that for. Oh, actually,
Yeah,
we do.
There.
Yeah, so this will be next review. So the Fantastic Four pinup page: Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. As we said earlier, you know, we're starting to get that finished look. We don't have the face yet, but the texture's there.
It's got some nice breasts on him here.
Nick is sexually attracted to the Human Torch and his chubby breasts. And I just wanted to point out that, you know, unfortunately in this shot here, Kirby kind of lost it a little bit or something. I just find Johnny Storm looks really kind of stupid here. Like I can almost hear him going, "Ding." That's kind of the sound I hear when I look at this drawing. But there you have it. The early beginnings of the Fantastic Four. Not quite perfected yet, but we're getting there. So that was our review of Fantastic Four number 3. If you are subscribed and you are still watching, thank you so much for still being there. Really appreciate it. If you are not subscribed but you're watching the videos, please subscribe down below. It takes only about a second for you. Helps spread the word about the channel to other people who are like-minded and are into the same kind of things that we are. In this case, comic books. So thank you everyone out there. Have an awesome day. And Nick?
To quote Jim Rugg, read more comics.
Oh, there we go. King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13. 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at kingcomics.ca, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.
Like! Subscribe!